Welcome into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Cam Brate and our very special guest for the day, Cody Mauch. Cody, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This will be fun.
Yep. Again, we always say you get a lot of brownie points. You came in after a tough loss and then also a flight that is late at night. You're running on how many hours of sleep at this point?
Not too many. 5 hours, I think.
All right. That's not the worst I've heard, but it's not great either. So thank you. We really do appreciate you taking the time. Let's just start kind of just big picture takeaways from the game, especially on the offensive side. What stands out?
I think anytime we have to end up throwing the ball like 43 times, it's like, something probably wasn't going great. And I don't know what it was. Every time we get close to field goal range or something, we'd have some dumb setback. We'd get a sack, we'd have a holding call, and it's just kind of just shooting ourselves in the foot all game. And had a shot at the end and I couldn't get it done.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. Cam, what did you see looking out, especially on the offensive side, but just the game overall?
I didn't think we played bad. It was just they made a couple more plays, and the thing is we just didn't make a couple plays we needed to make. Football's funny like that. It's just you never know when those five, critical plays are going to happen and what they're going to be, who they're going to involve. And it just seemed that we didn't make any of them, and the Cowboys did. So, it wasn't obviously the result we wanted, but it wasn't, some embarrassing showing or anything like that.
Yeah. And I know all losses are tough, but just knowing this one and the effects on where you guys stand for the playoff race now and the fact that it was such a last-second tough way to lose a game. Mm-hmm. What's the feeling after that? What's the message from coaches and just the vibe in the locker room and how you guys try to move forward from it?
Yeah, really, it's just, the thing about going into that game is like, it's kind of cliche, but, we really did control our own destiny. We win, we kind of dictate the terms on how the playoff race goes, and now it's kind of you just hope a couple other people lose, and it's never good when it ends up coming down to that. But it's really just come in and attack the last 2 weeks, and just do what we can do, and then everything else will shake out how it shakes out. But, yeah, that's really what it is. It's just get after the Panthers this week.
Yeah. And for you, how'd you feel like your game was?
I thought it was all right. I mean, it was always better we can do. Run game was going a little bit. We had to get away, go to the pass game, and that we protected well for the most part. Just there's always those couple pressures, those couple one-on-ones you'd maybe like back, and I think you're always going to have that.
Yeah, especially with pass pro, what were some of the things you feel like you guys were doing well, things that maybe could have been a little bit different in that area? That's a tough front that you're going against with the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, they were really good, and they pressure. They did a great job of just bringing one extra guy than we could block, or making it seem like this guy was coming, and they bring it from the other side, and just. I thought we were, pretty dialed with all the pressures. It was just maybe straying a little bit longer, maybe give Baker the ability to step up in the pocket a little bit more, and just little things like that. Mm-hmm. But all in all, I thought it was all right.
All right. I like that's the official grade is all right.
Yeah.
I know Baker ended up having 42 rushing yards and over 300 passing. And then also I saw, he ends up being the one to recover a fumble down there, which is not his first one of the season. I was just thinking about how often we're seeing him do these things downfield too, where he's in positions to recover fumbles. He's throwing blocks downfield. And I'd love to know for you as an offensive lineman what it's like watching him make some of those plays that are you don't expect out of a quarterback at all. It's not a given, but what that's like when you see that.
Yeah, it's electric when you see it. Like the recovery that he had the Cowboys game there, it was like I'm just kind of blocking, and then all of a sudden the ball comes out and Baker just comes up out of nowhere and just recovers it. It's like he just is so good at being around the ball. Even he's the one throwing it. Most quarterbacks are just going to sit back there and all right, let's go get the next play, get ready to go. But he finishes around the ball better than most people, better than we do. And like you said, like the Panthers, when that block he threw on Bucky's run, like how is that not the most electric thing when your quarterback's 65 yards downfield throwing blocks for your running back? It's just, it gets us going even more.
How do you evaluate the blocking technique here? If we were going to be film sessioning with Baker.
It was good. Probably could throw our hands a little bit more. He just kind of threw a shoulder in there, but I mean, he got the job done.
Yes, that's all that matters.
You don't want to direct the guy where to go.
No, yeah.
During the play, like the running back knows where
Yeah,
to go.
you go block
Right.
and
Yeah.
he'll fit
You
off
get the
you.
guy,
But
exactly.
hey,
You do you.
It is so funny that Baker has multiple fumble recoveries downfield this year. Like coaches always say, follow the ball, and it's very.
You don't typically mean the quarterback.
No, right?
Yeah.
He's truly the only quarterback that actually follows the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. And Cam, what did you see from Baker's performance in this game, especially hearing those stats of kind of being responsible for so much of the offense there, both doing it with the legs and the arm?
Yeah, I mean, I love watching Baker run the ball. He's so determined running. Maybe not the fastest quarterback in the league, but effective, very effective. And definitely doesn't love to slide. You can tell, like he gets fired up when he has a chance to lower the shoulder. It's probably not always the wisest move, but he's just a football player. He did a great job moving the ball yesterday. Just like Cody said, it was just like a couple plays here and there you just wish to have back. Whether it's offensive line straining for another second or a couple passes here and there that hopefully the receivers come up with that just didn't happen yesterday.
We're talking to Cam Brate and Cody Mauch. And for you, Cody, what has it been like to play with Baker? I mean, he's the only guy you've known here in the NFL now, and to learn over these years what it's like, and especially how different he is compared to some other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's the only quarterback I've had in the league, and I mean, I wouldn't want anyone else. Like, he's just the way I don't know, but I would assume most quarterbacks don't spend as much time with their offensive linemen. I mean, he's coming out with us to eat every Thursday. We're always hanging out with him in the locker room, off the field, like just little things like that. It's great. Like, how do you not want to play for a quarterback who like puts so much time in with you guys, and it just makes you want to do the little things a little bit more for him, and kind of leader he is. Like, I could say so many good things about Baker. We all love him.
That's awesome. And I know this was a wild stat I learned. So we now have 12 scrimmage touchdowns from rookies this season, which is the most among all NFL teams, because Bucky has 7 and Jalen now has 5. So Bucky is first among rookies in touchdowns. Jalen's tied for third in the receiving part of it. So Cam, tell me how amazing it is that these two guys as rookies are contributing the way they are, and just how that's not a given to have guys doing it at that kind of a level this early.
Right. I mean, we talked about Bucky a lot this year, just how electric he is with the ball. And just a fun running back, I'm sure, to block for, because you don't really have to block everyone every single time. He's going to find a way to get some extra yards, make a guy miss. But Jalen's progression throughout, especially the past month, you can just see his confidence growing. He's always been an effective route runner, but it's just kind of the little nuances. It seems like he's understanding coverages and how to like set guys up a little bit better. And, obviously with Chris out, he's kind of assumed that number 2 role now, and he's just done a great job.
Yeah, and what is it like to block for Bucky? And what are some of the first times you realized that, this might be pretty fun here? Oh,
yeah, he is just you got to just be on your toes. You got to hold your blocks a little bit longer, because I remember, I think it was one against the Broncos. He's going wide out to the left, and I'm just kind of keeping my guy in the middle of the field. All of a sudden, he makes this guy miss, starts cutting it back to the middle of the field, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in this play. I got to just hold a little bit longer. And he very rarely gets tackled by the first person. I mean, he just does such a good job in space, making guys miss. It's electric the way he runs it. It's so much fun to block for.
And speaking of electric, Mike Evans, still electric. Every dang game, there's something he does. I was thinking about that 26-yarder early in the game where just almost this fingertip catch. And Cam, what were your thoughts when you watched that play?
I mean, he got up like he didn't catch it. It was so bizarre. He was telling everyone to like get to the line of scrimmage, hurry up, and it was just the cleanest catch.
If that isn't Mike of just somehow still assuming like, oh, I probably didn't do that. Like,
I mean, anytime you get Mike one-on-one, Baker's salivating at that opportunity, just going to get the ball up to Mike, and he's going to come down with it. It was just unfortunate. We couldn't get the ball to him a little bit more in the second half, but obviously he was kind of their focal point on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we know we were going to be without Cade this for the first time this season, and we saw Payne Durham step in, take a lot of his reps. So, Mr. Tight End representative here, tell us, just what it's like for this offense to be missing Cade, with how much he is a part of it, of playing 90 billion snaps every game, and then watching Payne step into that spot. Yeah,
it was great to watch Payne yesterday. He did a great job stepping in. I've gotten to know him over the past couple of years, but, Cade plays so much. Payne really hasn't had the opportunity to play a ton. But just to see him kind of go out and catch some passes, see what he can do. You can tell he has really good feel, finding zones, coming back to the quarterback for the ball. Got to work on the ball security a little bit. led to Baker's fumble recovery. But good to see him out there. Great to see Coe get a little bit more work. He went out for a pass. I think it might have been the first time this year. He didn't get the ball thrown to him.
We're a big team. Give the ball to Coe over
so
here
am
on
I.
this show.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
But all right, so we put him a bunch at fullback this past game. I'm thinking maybe fullback dive coming up for him.
We'll have to put it in. Yeah, right up his alley.
This is what I think. I think we need even something where maybe you and Coe both somehow get involved in this, that it's like the play call is like Ginger something. And like the two of you are just really coming down here to be a part of this play.
I think so. I mean, I would sign up for that one.
Yeah.
So I think we should do something about that.
I think that we need to make that happen.
His stat line in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Sick.
Oh, it's wild. We'll get to that. Don't you
Okay.
worry. Don't you worry.
Right.
It is pretty incredible. And that's why I'm like, I think that we need to somehow find a way to get both of these guys involved here. Also, Ryan Miller, man, this guy's had to step up in some pretty big moments. Cody, what was it like out there, the reaction when you guys saw that he was able to catch that touchdown and felt like he put you guys back in a position to still be in it there late?
No, it was awesome. I mean, it was at the right time. It was exactly what we needed at the time. Ryan, he does such a good job in there, especially with the run game. He really stepped up a lot this year. Really an extension of the offensive line is what he's been this year, going and digging out the nickel or safeties who come down. Like, he does such a good job with that it was good that we could, find him and get him a touchdown too, because like I said, how much work that he does that probably goes under the radar for most people. Good for him to get a touchdown, especially at that point in the game.
And I know we also saw Yaya and Kalijah share a sack. Tell me about just the idea of your rookie class and watching you guys be able to be such a big part of it now this year as well.
Yeah, those two are just they're so fun to watch. I mean, they're both just such good players. Having to go against Kalijah all the time in training camp, it's fun to watch him out there against other guys.
Yeah, please do this to someone else.
Yeah, Yaya too. I mean, you just look at him, the guy's a freak in nature. It's so fun to watch them out there just terrorize quarterbacks and tackles and guards. They've been having a great year, coming along great, and it's going to be fun to watch for years to come.
Someone else I'm imagining you love watching it happen to somebody else is Vita.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Tell me, first of all, our thoughts on watching him have the chance to maybe kill someone and then just decide, I'm going to instead just politely set you on the ground instead of killing you. But I felt like Vita had the chance to he was just wreaking havoc in that game.
Yeah, he is. I don't even know what to say. I mean, when you're blocking him in like training camp, it's just like, just get my hands in and just pray. Just sit here and just lose slowly because he's just so strong,
Lose
powerful.
slowly. I
mean,
that.
that's really what it is. That's honestly a lot of the times the coaching point is just get in, just anchor as best you can, and just hold on. I mean, that's about all you can do. And he's just such a strong, explosive dude, and athletic too for how big he is. I mean, he moves really well for being as big as he is.
I saw him drop in coverage that one play and then come out of nowhere to make it to open field tackle.
If
That's
Vita wasn't
wild.
there, that was a huge play. It was like third down, threw a little ball to flat to Jake Ferguson. Vita was on the other side too. He came across, and if it's anyone else, if that's a DB, like, he's falling forward and getting the first down. The game's over. Bucs don't get the ball back. I love watching Vita running coverage. It's great. But I mean, when Vita's healthy, he's truly unblockable. And really the past couple months, we've had the opportunity to see that. And, like, I cannot imagine being a center the night before the game, just like laying in bed thinking about having to go up against Vita the next day, because you need 4 hands on him every single play.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Cam Brate and our special guest, Cody Mauch. And I'm so excited to dive into all things Cody. I'm like, there's so much here to talk about. First of all, tell me about the town you grew up in. Tell me a little bit about the size of it, what it was like, and how North Dakota was it?
Oh, yeah, I feel like it was about as North Dakota as you can get. It's a really small town in southeast North Dakota. 10 miles from the Minnesota border, 10 miles from the South Dakota border. So just right down there, tucked in there. 900 people I grew up with in my hometown. Just small town through and through. Our school in town was K through 12. We're all in one building. There's 320 people in the entire school. 18 kids in my class. It's crazy when you talk to everyone else about, most people have 300 people in their class. Mm-hmm. And So it was just this small town feel. I loved it though. It was great. I wouldn't change anything about it.
I love it. And and it was a farm you grew up on as well, right?
Yep. We farmed. Yep.
Yeah.
Still do, but.
Still do? What do you guys farm?
We farm corn, soybeans, edible beans, and sugar beets.
So did you grow up like, I'm assuming like working on the farm, that this is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How early is this a thing you start doing?
Well, you start going to work with dad when you're 6 years old, start sweeping the shop and all that kind of stuff, and then graduate on to being an 8-year-old driving a tractor around.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I got some just crazy farm stories about crashing a couple tractors before.
I love it.
Yeah, and some just good stories of that. But yeah, you're driving at age you're driving a tractor before you can drive a vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, they're easier to drive than a car is. So yeah, just growing up doing that, it was great.
And you are how many kids in this family?
There are eight of us, 8 kids.
Y'all were like almost 1% of the population of your town.
You
I
really
love this.
were. You really were. It's free farm help. That's probably what my dad and mom were saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's 8 kids. You can go work on the farm.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so where are you at in this?
I'm the
line?
second oldest, older brother, and then me.
Okay, how big of the age span is this for this many kids?
It is, my brother is 27, and then the youngest is 9.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
a big spread.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
That's wild.
Are you guys big?
Yeah. My brother is, my brother's, 6'2" or 6'3". Both my sisters right below me they were really good athletes in high school, and the 2 younger boys, I think they'll grow up and be a little bit bigger too, which is good. And yeah, just a big family.
Yeah.
Corn-fed.
That's what I was about to
yeah.
say, the literal
the
corn
dairy.
fed.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
And do you think you have an accent?
I don't think so most of the time, but I can definitely hear it in a lot of words. But do you notice it pretty easily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
It's
great.
endearing.
It
Yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
lovely. It's so
Like
good.
I feel like I can trust you.
Yeah, there you go.
do
Perfect.
you do if you're about to run into someone in the hallway?
Oh. Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine you saying it while you're out there blocking someone. I'm like,
sorry.
So now we get to talk about what Cam brought up earlier, your high school stat line and all the positions you played, which now also hearing how few people were in this town, this also makes more sense.
Yep.
Tell me about high school football, Cody.
Yeah, well, like I said, really small town, so we played 9-man football in high school.
So what 2 positions are gone?
Both tackles are gone, and then defense, you're just missing a D lineman and a linebacker.
Okay.
So, but we, a lot of the 9-man schools in different states will play on a smaller field. We played on a typical 11-man field, which was nice because you get one good, quick back. You're probably going to make it to the playoffs. That's all you need. Just get out on the edge and go. But it didn't have a lot of kids. My senior year, I think we had 17 kids on our team, so we couldn't even go 9-on-9 in practice. We had to have coaches step in or a trash can out there somewhere. And you kind of do have to play every position. I was the tight end, DN, kicker, backup quarterback, going there at running back. Like, you really everyone kind of has to do everything. And it was great. I mean, getting involved and actually being able to catch the ball and throw the ball a little bit was fun. Don't get to do that anymore.
So sad.
Yeah.
But look, he got to experience it. All these other linemen
It's
we've had
amazing.
on, they want it so
Yeah.
bad. And listen to this. What do you think you were best at of all those positions in high school?
I would say probably tight end. I mean, I would, just get split out wide, and again, small town. I'm 6'5". A lot of these other kids are, there's 5'8", 5'9" corners. So it's like, let's just take a shot.
That's so
we have the
unfair.
numbers on our side here, and so that was what we did a lot of the time.
Yeah, so you finished high school with over 1,000 receiving yards, school record 24 touchdowns, school record sacks in a season and career. I have never said those things back to back. School record of touchdowns and sacks. That's incredible.
And he threw for like 500 yards and a few touchdowns too.
Yeah,
Right?
that was the best. Our quarterback went down for a couple games senior year, and I got to step in there and play some quarterback, and probably wasn't too pretty, but it was fun. That was the most fun I've ever had right there when I got to play quarterback.
It's amazing. We're talking to Cody Mauch. How much of this have you brought up to Liam Cohen?
I haven't done it yet, which is completely on me. We got to get some kind of guard throw to a tackle, just something
It's
cool.
so
like
hard
that.
with the guard, though.
That is
You need to
tough.
be a
You're really
tackle.
limited what you can do.
Yeah.
Just tell Luke to sit out one play,
Right.
throw you out
Just
there.
little
just
swapsies.
little swapsies.
Yeah, like-
He's done guard things. You've done
Yeah.
tackle things. Just a little.
couple plays, we'll switch and see what can
It
happen.
might give it away, though.
I think
Probably would.
think we
Probably
might
should just stick with what we're doing now.
Stick with what works well. Also, you played basketball, thrower. You did a bunch of other things as well as football, right?
Yes, I did. Pretty much whatever sport was offered at the time I was doing it. I did summer baseball, spring baseball, basketball, football. I did throwing, track, and I did golf a couple years too, just to get out of school. But I was a terrible golfer, but I did golf a couple years.
Amazing. And then also, I mean, you were all conference and region in basketball, qualified for state as a thrower and track, all these things. So then tell me about how you end up going to North Dakota State of like this process of, I mean, I imagine trying to scout him and it's like they're watching him play every position known to man. How did that go of trying to get you scouted to colleges?
Well, wasn't heavily recruited at all. I was really just a tall, skinny kid, a 215-pound tight end in small town North Dakota, and didn't have any offers. I had a couple D2 offers. That was the biggest I had. And, it was always the dream to go play for NDSU. That's kind of that's the NFL team up there in North Dakota. Like if you can go play at NDSU, you're good. Like that's the goal right there. And so I was able to walk on there, and I'm like, okay, good, I'll go. And I expected to be a practice player for 5 years and go back and start farming, and it turned into something pretty fun.
Yeah, it seems like it did pretty well. I also love that you brought up the weight. I brought a visual aid here.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, let's go.
So we have a graphic for our radio listeners. I will describe this to you. It is Cody in 2017.
Oh, I've seen that.
And then in 2022. And it's the comparison of the weight. And then this just went very viral when you were playing in this game where everyone was like, what happened to this human? Of like the teeth, the hair, the weight. You would not, if you were on the FBI's Most Wanted,
Always
no one's
handsome,
recognizing
though.
you.
Yeah,
Always
totally,
handsome.
yeah.
Clearly. Tell me, first of all, the weight, how we went from 221 to 303 in 5 years here.
It was really, again, coming back to the small town thing, we didn't really have much of a weight program or lift weights. So it was a very raw 220. And I got to college as a tight end, and, you're on the program. I was on the seafood eat food diet. And it is one of those 1 to 2 pounds a week. Just see how much you can gain, get up there. And 1 to 2 pounds a week turned into 70 pounds in a year. I'm up to, 270, and they're like, you're going to end up playing tackle. And I'm like, no way. Like, I don't want to do that, but bought into it, and just the weight just kind of kept coming a little bit and hit a couple roadblocks on the way. It's tough to gain 90 pounds and keep all that weight, but it's weight sticking now.
Yeah, now we've got to sort it out.
Yeah, now we're good, yeah.
Did I hear that you had to buy like the unlimited plan at the dining hall when you didn't originally to try to like work on this?
I did, yeah. It was, again, wasn't a scholarship guy, so I had to pay for the unlimited food plan because that's what they kind of made us do as freshmen there. And yeah, you have to get, I think it was 15 meals a week, and I was probably clocking 25, 26 meals a week. And a lot of good memories at the dining hall in North Dakota State.
I mean, they saw Cody walk in though, and they were like, "Oh no."
Yeah, I got my money's worth. That's for sure. Yeah,
that's very true. And then, of course, the other thing that everybody talks about in the difference of these pictures, the teeth. Mm-hmm. It's become the signature thing.
Yeah.
You and Michael Strahan, some of the most famous teeth out there. Tell everyone the story of how you lost them.
Well, we were playing. It was a middle school. I think I was a 7th grader in a basketball game. The conference championship, 7th grade. It was electric. Diving for a loose ball, and so was one of my teammates, and we just kind of, my face right into the top of his head, and teeth were all janky in there or whatever, blood everywhere. Had to go to the ER. They pulled out the 2 teeth, and the next 3 days I was a huge, it was so swollen. I had a huge duck lip. It was just, I was really embarrassed at the time. I wanted the teeth fixed so bad, but I was a growing kid. You can't really put implants in until your jaw stops growing. So it was like, well, you're 12 years old. You can't do it till you're 18. So it was countless retainers and fake teeth. And again, I'm a 12-year-old kid with retainers. I broke it every 3 weeks. And my mom was like, you gotta do something about this. Yeah. We're spending so much money on just fake teeth. And at some point it's like, it just doesn't, we're good. I don't need to even worry about the teeth anymore. And yeah, I think in that picture I was wearing the fake teeth all the time there, and at some point you just stop caring about how you look. I mean, look at how I look. You can't really care about how you look, That's
dude, you look great.
Majestic.
Okay,
the majestic
you.
ginger. It's such a good look. I love the signature thing. I feel like it's like I remember telling our offensive line coach at the time when you were eligible to be drafted, I was like, we have to draft him. I literally only knew the picture of you. And I was like, this is all you need to know about this man. It's the most on-brand offensive lineman thing I've ever seen. And I love that it was about you not being done growing. Do you feel like now, are we good? Could we maybe get the team now?
I would think so. We probably could, but at this point,
it's the signature
not
move.
even worth it.
Well, most importantly, you have a fiance. Mm-hmm. How does she feel? I mean, you got her to say yes to marriage without them, so now it's like, hey.
She signed up, so I'm good. I don't have to impress anyone anymore. So as long as she's okay with the no front teeth, which she says she is.
Including for the
good.
wedding?
Including the wedding.
I love it.
We're good.
I love that the wedding pictures will be no front teeth.
I feel like you kind of use your front teeth for some things, right?
Yeah.
Like apples?
Yeah.
Apples are hilarious because I'll take a bite of an apple and it just looks like a smiley face when you're doing it. But it's hard to eat. I can't really eat corn on the cob. I have to shove it on the side of my mouth.
As a corn farmer,
like
you
still do it.
Okay.
Still do it. It's messy and wings are really hard, but
man.
You just got to make a play.
It's just all worth it.
Yeah.
How many times have people said to you, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth?
All the time. So we just had our O-line Christmas and Ben Bredesen, that was his gift for me was all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth Christmas sweater. And so I'll be rocking that this Christmas.
That's a great gift. Shout out to Ben.
Yep, good one.
Good gift. Also, I know you, like, as we talked about, you have a fiance. Were you more nervous to propose or for your first NFL start?
I was super nervous to propose. I don't know what the thing is about that. Like, I knew she was going to say yes, but we were driving 30 minutes to the place I was going to propose, and I'm like, I forget how to talk to her. Like, what do I say? Like, it was like June. I think it was July, and I'm like, the weather's pretty nice. Like, I didn't know how to talk to her, and I was just shaking the entire time when I was on a pontoon boat, and I just freezing up. I had a whole speech lined up, what I was going to say to her, all that, and will you marry me? It just kind of blurted out. It's like, why can't I do this? What? So yeah, pretty nervous.
That's incredible. Also, you're wearing a Vote for Pedro shirt, which I really appreciate. Did I also hear there's a chance you did a performance of Napoleon Dynamite at some point?
I did. Yeah, 6th grade talent show. I did the Napoleon Dynamite.
Just
dance.
leaned. You're a guy that leans into things.
Yeah,
I love that. You're like, I'm a redhead. This movie. This is what
gotta do it. No, I had the whole outfit on. I had some moon boots on. It was my cousin's Uggs. That's what it was. But no, I practiced that for 2 months at night, just watching the dance and trying to do it the best I could. And it's out there on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, now we gotta find this.
Could you still do it?
No shot. No, I don't even think I could do it at the time. It was a lot to remember.
That's great. Did you have to do a rookie song?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And what was that?
I did Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
That's great.
Yep. That was. I should have done the Napoleon Dynamite dance. Should have relearned it. That would have been pretty good. But it's a lot of work for a rookie in training camp.
Yeah, you got a lot. That or playbook. Let me see. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's incredible. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Cam Brate and our special guest, Cody Mauch. And we were talking a little bit about your transition to college, but you've had to do the moving positions thing a few times, of not just in high school playing everything under the sun, but once you got there in the whole tackle, guard, right, left. Take us through some of the challenges of that and what you have learned of being able to make these shifts and transitions.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it kind of started with high school. You kind of have to play all these different positions. You're playing both sides of the ball every snap. And I came into college as a tight end. I did that for, the first year and the first spring ball. And then they flipped me over to tackle, so it's a completely new position to learn and a hard one at that. I've never really had to, pass block, go backwards while guys are coming at me too. So that was a bit of a transition period and kind of flipping from right to left side in college, and then played the last 3 years at left tackle. Felt like I had that down pretty good, and then now you get to the NFL and they want you to play not only right on the right side but right guard. So that was a big transition. It took a lot of the first OTAs, training camp, honestly the whole season to really get that down, and it just takes a lot of reps to be able to do that. And position changes are always tough, but if you just lean into it, I mean, it makes it a little bit easier. I
know you said, Cam, when he walked in, you were talking about just what growth you've seen, like in Cody, even for you just watching him these last 2 years. What did you notice about just the way it's shifted for him?
Right. It's like two different players, right? and it just takes time. Getting comfortable, it's totally different, like skill set required. The guys you're going up against are totally different in terms of how they're attacking you. And it's just been awesome to watch this year. He's kind of always, you could tell he's like very athletic for an offensive lineman, like getting him out in space. He's definitely more comfortable there. But just upper body strength and striking with the hands have just improved so much. And it's paid dividends for running the ball on offense. Like running to the right side with him and Luke, like it's gone pretty well so far this year, especially on a lot of the gap runs. So it's just been great to see the growth that you've had. Yeah. From year 1 to year 2.
Yeah. I mean, how different did that feel for you? And when do you now feel like you're just like, cool, I'm good. Like I've got this.
Yeah. I mean, just so much more comfortable now. It was the whole part of the transition last year was, especially pass pro wise, you do 3 years at left tackle and, you're so used to throwing your outside hand, your left hand, and now you're on the right side at guard and everything happens so much faster. It was so dumb because it'd be like, I know what I want to do, but my body just wouldn't do it last year. So finally, got after a little bit in the offseason and figured some things out. And the biggest thing is just inside, if you can throw your hands, you got a way better shot already. So I finally started to figure that out a little bit. My body was finally listening to my head a little bit. And it's just a lot more comfortable and more confident now.
When did you know you had a shot at the NFL?
I really didn't until probably after my first year starting. I figured I could, go in and be a UDFA or late round guy. And I'm like, this could be fun. I could just give this a try. And then as college went on, I started playing a lot better and figured I could, maybe make a little bit of a run of this. That's
wild. And then for you playing next to Luke, tell me what that's like. The one who is constantly the one getting in fights.
Oh, all the time. It takes a bit to get used to. Last year, Luke's a guy. He's not afraid to tell you what he's feeling, which is great. I mean, it takes a bit to get used to playing next to him. I love it. I love it so much. I wouldn't want to play next to anyone else. He's just, as a football player, obviously. I mean, you're talking about the gap scheme runs. It makes it so much easier when all I have to do is just kind of hold the guy, and then Luke's going to come and Luke does all the work on that. I'm not doing anything, so he makes it pretty easy. And just after 2 years now of playing with him, you get such a better feel of how he's setting, how we're doing on combos. Just you get that feel, and that's all the football side. But it's so fun. He's just such a character that it's always entertaining playing with him.
Never boring.
So sitting with you now, you're pretty well spoken, definitely introspective, very interesting to talk to. Whereas like, not that Luke's not, but I feel like when Luke's on the field, he's like, Luke football, like smash.
Yeah, Luke hit. Yeah.
Is there much of a dialogue between you guys during the game?
Yeah, we're talking about what's going on in the game, what he's seeing, what I'm seeing, how we're feeling, and all that. But there's also he's doing a better job of it's not always just like, oh, Luke block guy.
So he's not just grunting back at you, he's talking?
Yeah, okay, we're talking. Right, we're having good dialogue. We're
even after the smellies.
Keeping it light out there. Oh, yeah, even after the smell. Well, the smellies have to wear off a little bit for him. He's pretty full go once the smellies hit. So, but no, it's good. The dialogue's fun. We keep it light and fun out there too, which is good to kind of stay level-headed as the game's going on.
What was the harder transition, position or North Dakota to Florida?
I'd say position, but the whole North Dakota to Tampa thing is definitely a transition. I mean, those training camps are so hot. Right now, I think it's a -6 back home.
Oh my gosh.
They've been getting snow every day the last week. I don't really miss that. I miss the snow, but I don't miss negative weather, and just if you're outside for 10 minutes, you're gonna freeze your face off.
Yeah.
So I don't really miss that, but we like it here. It's fun.
When it's like 40 in the morning here, are you like, it's cold out? Or is it like, has your blood thinned?
Blood has thinned a little bit. Right. But it's still, we went back for the bye week and it was like 40 degrees. And we're like, this is pretty chilly. And everyone else is walking around in shorts and a sweatshirt. So definitely blood's thinned out, but you don't really lose the northern blood, I guess. It's not as thin as probably most.
Just wait a couple years.
Yeah,
you'll never want to go back. But
yeah.
Does your hometown, do people think you're soft now? that you live in Florida?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. I get I get made fun of a lot for that. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you like, I imagine like the golden boy, like the famous one of this town. Is this accurate? Like having an NFL player in this small town.
It doesn't happen
Yeah.
ever up there. I mean, there's probably a handful of guys who've ever made the league from North Dakota. So it's pretty cool. They support me very well back home, which is really cool.
That's very sweet. How much sunscreen did you have to learn to use? How bad were some of the early sunburns?
Really bad. Really bad. I remember when I first got here, we went out and played pickleball, and I'm like, it's not too sunny. I did actually. I put on a coat of sunscreen. I'm like, this will last, 2 hours or whatever. No, I was fried. And I'm like, okay, I pretty much just carry a thing of sunscreen in my back pocket all the time now because very, very pale skin, as you can see. So
yeah, you were not built for the Florida.
Not at all. No.
It's amazing. What were some of the biggest things for you that you felt like you wanted to work on from last year and that you've already seen like this year of just the growth? We kind of talked about like the mental side even, but just some of the X's and O's of it where you can see like if you were to look at film from last year and this year, are you like, I did what I set out to do? Yeah,
for sure. My biggest thing was struggled a little bit last year with some of the more powerful bull rush type guys. So that was a big focal point, was putting on a little bit more weight. But the main thing is just getting stronger lower body wise, which is helped so much just with an anchor and all that, and getting a little bit more movement in the run game. That was really the biggest change I wanted to make. And then also just throwing my hands more in pass pro. Like we said, that just made a world of difference. So those were really the two focal points I had. And I thought I hit them, pretty well in the off season. So it's been a little bit better this year.
Yeah, Coach Bowles has definitely sung your praises a lot, which is not a thing he does just all the time to all the people. And how cool is it to hear just the way that like coaches talk about you and the way that just even the offensive line, you guys have gotten so much credit this year, the run game, everything like that. What has that been like to be a part of that and to see that everyone is so excited about what you guys are doing when you're a group that doesn't always get that kind of accolade?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you're never really looking for any glory or anything, but if you just start, we really focus on doing the little things here and there. And if you just do the little things all the time, the praises will kind of come, I guess. It's obviously not what we do it for, but if you just kind of just go in and do your job, it's nice to hear, coaches giving you a little shout out, and coaches don't do that a lot. So whenever you can get a little pat on the back, you got to take it.
Yeah. And how about playing next to Graham as a rookie another guy who I'm sure you can empathize with, of having to do the new position as a rookie, big transition, how he's handled it, and have you been trying to kind of help him along as well in that front?
Yeah, big time. We were just talking about it, I think, Saturday morning, just about the transition that it is. He was the same thing, coming and playing a new position, and especially playing center, mentally it's probably the biggest change because you're controlling everything out there. And if he's off with a mic pointer, if he doesn't, read things the right way, we're all kind of thrown off. And that's the biggest thing, I think, with Graham. He did a good job of it from the beginning, but just very rarely does he make mistakes or miss IDs or anything like that. So that's the biggest thing. When you have a center who really knows what's going on and can get us all in the right call or right blocking schemes and combinations, that's where the play starts. And just as a player, he was kind of saying the same thing, just the things about power, realizing how much quicker things get on you inside, especially at center. But he's been playing. I mean, he's playing worlds better than I did last year. So it's been really fun to play with him.
What's it like for you, Cam, to watch this offensive line and the way that they've grown and gelled, and having just watched the Bucs for so many years now, and again, struggles in the run game and the way that this group has gelled together, and especially this interior group now with Cody and Graham in there?
Yeah, I mean, you just see it the way that they're able to protect Baker. You can see it in the stats running the football, and very versatile as a group, right? It's not just, a few years ago we just did a lot of man blocking, a lot of like simple gap runs without pullers, and then last year kind of introduced some more zone schemes, and then this year kind of just opened the floodgates, can kind of do everything, reverses, different guys pulling from different spots, and I'm sure that makes it more fun as opposed to just going straight forward right into the guy, just switching up the looks for the guys on the offensive line, attacking from different angles. And you can only do that if, one, everyone's on the same page, and two, you have the athletes to do that.
Yeah, and for you, Cody, how would you explain the success y'all have had if you look at specifically the run game, and then even just thinking about Liam Cohen's scheme, the guys you have on the line, if you were to kind of explain all the reasons why in your mind this has been the year that it's been such a dramatic shift and it clicking?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, Liam, excuse me, Liam, we're not just lining up and running mid-zone or wide zone. We're having motions, pre-snap, motions at the snap. Oof.
That was the most northern thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oof.
I'm so glad that happened now, just so we could hear that reaction.
But no, he just, and I think with the offensive line that we have, with the tight ends we have, with the backs we have, we're able to do more than just, one gap scheme or wide zone or mid zone. And he calls them all at the right time, just mixing everything up and plays well into our skill set. But again, it all goes back to, it's so much for defenses to see when you have a guy motioning here, tight end bashing here, and just all those different things. It's a lot on the defense that it sets up those reverses, and then, they have to play for that. And we all really love Liam's offense.
That's great. And it seems like you guys also you guys all seem to really like each other and gel really well. And I feel like we hear that a lot about the offensive line of like, chemistry is so important, but I feel like this group has taken that to another level. Does it feel like that does make as big of a difference as it seems on the field?
I really think so. I mean, it's something you don't really even feel, but when you're that close with all of the, the 4 other linemen that are in there and all of the linemen too, just as a room, you don't really feel it or see it, but it's there, just being that close with guys, knowing football-wise, kind of knowing how they're going to play and whatnot, but especially just, I don't know, when you can mesh that well as a room, with the guys, it just seems to click a little bit more, and it's really paid its dividends this year so far.
All right, we're going to take one more break here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. Casey Phillips here with Cam Brate and Cody Mauch. All right, so we always like to give players a chance to say what they hate that the other side of the ball does. So this is your chance to rant about defensive players and what they do.
Oh, gosh.
Everyone always seems overwhelmed by this question.
He's too friendly. I feel like
that's true. The northerner in him is like, they're all
they're
great.
So good. Yeah. I don't know. My biggest gripe is always if we're going, if we're in a walk-through tempo or two-step or something like that, it's they always got to go a little bit more. It's all right, guys, let's just.
Who's the biggest defender?
Ooh.
It's got to be. But if that's what he has to do to play as well as he does, we're all right with that. I feel like it's got to be Yaya.
The northerner took over. He's like, I'll tell you, but then I'm going to let it be okay. I'm going to tell you all the reasons it's fine. That's really funny. All right, how about some players that you love to watch?
Yeah, I like to watch Chris Lindstrom with the Falcons. He's so good. It's just I just want to be able to do some of those things. He's really fun to watch. He's amazing. We just watch so much of their film since they're in the division. But also, when you pull up some old Zach Martin clips, one of the best to do it at right guard. So he's really fun to watch. But those are probably 2 of the main guys.
Cam, who were the people that you tried to watch and learn from?
Oh man. It's a great question. Different. I couldn't do what he could do, but I loved watching Travis Kelce. Yeah. He was really fun to watch the way they incorporated him. He's not quite the same player he was 5 years ago, but he's still really effective. Greg Olsen. I grew up a huge Bears fan, so going to play against Greg when he was in Carolina, I always thought that was pretty cool. And then my first coach here, he coached Tony Gonzalez, so when he was with Kansas City, so he'd bust out that old tape. And it's amazing how far the technology has come. If you watch film from 15 years ago, it is truly unwatchable. You can't see anything. And now it's so good. I always thought 20 years ago it'd be great to play because you couldn't tell really if you messed up. Right now, every single thing gets looked at under a microscope, fine-tooth comb. But even 15 years ago before it got HD,
So grainy.
So grainy.
Get
You
away
couldn't
with
really see
anything.
anything. You could get
Like,
away with
see,
so
I didn't
much.
hold.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, that was him. That's funny. Well, you mentioned, so you were all excited to play against Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Have you had like a starstruck moment yet, Cody?
Last year we played the Eagles twice. Just going up against Fletcher Cox was pretty crazy. Wasn't fun. I mean, he's unreal. Thank goodness he retired. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of those things where you grow. I mean, he played 12, 13, 14 years. So you grow up watching that. My brother was a huge Eagles fan, so we always had those games on. And it just, say you played against him and blocked him was pretty cool. Young Cody would think that's pretty cool.
Young Cody was excited.
Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned, there's no NFL team where you were from. So how did you guys pick who you rooted for?
It was really split in my area. If you're either a Vikings fan or a Packers fan, and I feel like there were probably a little bit more Vikings fans, but it was pretty much Vikings or Packers.
And what were you?
I was a Vikings fan.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. How about, so you mentioned Fletcher Cox, hardest people you've had to go against outside of him, or where he would rank even in that?
He's up there, top 4 or 5. It's him. If you ever have to block Dexter Lawrence one-on-one, which you very rarely do because that's just bad scheming if you have to block him one-on-one. But he's just a world beater. He's so good.
Big.
So
I remember
big.
like the first time I played against him, I looked across and I was like, I pray that I don't have to touch him this game and he doesn't have to touch me.
Don't come anywhere near here.
He is so wide.
Oh, he makes the other D linemen look small, which is crazy because they're all huge. Yep. Like he's up there for sure. And then Derek Brown for the Panthers didn't play him. This year he got hurt, but last year, I struggled a little bit with him. He's very, very good.
Great player.
Yeah, very good.
What makes someone one of the hardest people to go against? What are the things? Is it just size, strength, like the physical stuff? Are there certain things people do? Like, what are the things that you're like, ooh, that was rough?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, it's the really big guys who have all that power, but they're also just so explosive. And it's guys like Vita who are the strongest guy. If he just wanted to bull rush you every time he could, but he's also very sneaky, athletic, and uses his hands so well that if you're just going to sit on the power, well, he's going to hit you with something else. So it's the guys like that, and like a guy like Fletcher who is that, but he also, like I said, played so long in the league that he's just such a smart player. That's if you put those 3 things together: size, explosiveness, and intelligent. It's a battle.
Yeah. So now we've been asking guys this last couple weeks. Now we got Christmas coming in hot, basically, tomorrow, next day. Tell me for you some of the favorite either movies, food, music, whatever warms your North Dakota heart at Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm a big Christmas music guy. I would listen to it I feel like once November 1st hits, it's about time to start listening to it.
You're a post-Halloween guy.
Oh, yeah. Once Halloween's over, my fiance's not on board with that. She didn't want to put the tree up or anything Christmas until December, which I talked her into going a little bit earlier. But
Look at the compromise already happening before marriage.
How about it? No, so that and one of the traditions we would always do is I just like, we'd cook some kind of breakfast, bacon and all these cinnamon caramel rolls and pizza rolls and all this. Yeah, it's just.
And we wonder how he ended up an offensive lineman.
No kidding.
I'm perplexed.
But that was always our Christmas Eve morning. We would do that, and it started out when it was a smaller family. We'd just sit on an old blanket on the ground, and then all of a sudden there's 10 people in your family. You can't really find a blanket that can hold 10 people, so we had to move to the table. And but that was something I always loved about Christmas Eve morning was just the wide range and just pizza rolls, breakfast food, just whatever. It was great. We loved it.
Big fan.
Dude, I'm just thinking about, did your mom cook?
Yeah.
Cooking for 10 of you guys?
Yeah. And finding something that every kid would want to eat. It's maybe 7 of us would want it, but the other 3 have cereal or something. Like she's like, I don't care. I'm not making more than one thing. If you don't like it, you're not eating it.
That's great. I don't blame her. That sounds about right. We're talking to Cam Brate and Cody Mauch. And speaking of your love of Christmas, I know the offensive line did the shopping spree. We have another visual aid.
Oh.
That this was a photo I took of Cody that I just loved that of all the people to get paired up with the little girl that was just only about the Barbie life.
You look so happy.
Yeah, that takes me back. I played with the little Barbies growing up.
Yeah, you got that many kids. Why not, man?
Yeah.
I love this. Tell me how cool it is. I mean, you guys do the offensive line, the turkey time. You do this shopping spree at Christmas. Like, how cool is it to be a part of a group that, again, you guys are so close, and then also doing some things like this? What was that like to be a part of?
Yeah, it's so cool. That's one thing. Those are the two things that I think we all kind of look forward to. The turkey time is just so much fun out there, just interacting with the people driving up and getting their Thanksgiving dinners. Like, that's really fun, but especially the Christmas, that's such a good time. I mean, you give a kid, I think this year's, everyone gets $200 and they can get whatever they want in all of Target, and just so much fun to just see them not even care about the $200 spending limit, just grabbing everything they can. And, okay, guys, we gotta, we only get $200 here.
Slow down here.
You only get so many Barbies with $200.
Yeah.
And that's just so much fun to just see them just go crazy out there. I mean, as a kid, if you had that opportunity, I would be doing the same thing. Just, that.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
$200 is infinity.
It's infinity money, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. They're like, I can buy the whole store with this amount. I also know that the offensive line room gets decorated for Christmas. How were you at it last year as a rookie?
We were okay. It wasn't great. I do think that I had my fiance come in and help a little bit. So that was kind of cheating.
Yep.
But they did a really good job. It looked good this year. It's got to be up there in the top 3 in the whole building. It looks pretty good in there.
Wow.
Top 3 in the
Top
building.
3 in the building.
That's pretty good.
Who's number 1?
I got to assume, maybe like ticketing or, some of the behind the scenes people decorate pretty well.
Oh, yeah. I think for the actual players, the DB's room is pretty impressive. But otherwise, I think you guys are up there for sure. Where do you rank on the offensive line for eating?
Honestly, probably not as high as most other guys. I can tell you who number 1 is, Luke, for sure. Guy's always eating. He'll show up to O-line dinner with food already. Like,
oh my God,
we're about to eat. What are you doing? No, I would say I'm probably in the middle of the pack.
Did you have to do a rookie dinner?
Yeah. Yep.
How bad was that?
It was. We went to Pont, and it was. It ended up being $5,000 or $6,000, and
jeez,
it was. It was fun until you get that check, and it's like, but everyone's got to do it, so nothing you can really do about it.
Did you have to do a rookie dinner?
I had to do like 3.
You had to do 3?
I was just, the coach.
Oh, because you were the only rookie for so long?
Yeah.
So they didn't just let you off with one?
No. I just kept getting it because it was the same group of guys, too, the same coach, so I just kept doing the rookie dinner. But Anthony Auclair, our Canadian friend, I had to also then pay for his dinner because his bank in Canada wouldn't allow like more than like $1,000 to be used for dinner. So technically I had it 4 years in a row.
Because you also had to do it for him.
I had to cover ants. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Royal Bank of Canada.
What a
didn't come through.
What a rough stretch. Yeah. All right. So briefly here, we'll end with looking forward to this Panthers game. What are the interesting things about facing a team twice so close together here? Yeah,
I mean, you have fresh film on. We only played them a couple weeks ago, so you have a lot of fresh film on them, but they also do on us. So it's I'm not really sure what goes into it scheme-wise for the coaches, because not necessarily what you did last time is going to work this time, because obviously there's going to be adjustments. But I think the biggest thing is just with the fresh film, you can kind of see how you block these guys individually and just the adjustments, how you're going to make the next time around. But it's nice having fresh film on a team, especially when you play them and you can kind of watch yourself and how you would correct that.
All right. Well, Cody, thank you so much again for coming on a rough night of sleep and late night flight and everything. We really appreciate you coming on here.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. This is great.
All right. And thanks to all of you. That's been it on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio.